Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Calling All Beings. It's not going to be the normal DJ intro that you hear and that even Ors heard when we did our high school show,
Yep.
where we brought it hard just the way that we do on Calling All Beings. But we're not going to hear that today. It's a very difficult day. So let me first just hello, Bia. How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for all of your support over the last 24 hours since this young lady below, who is my friend Ors, Orsalina is her name, one of my Italian paisan from back home, whom I believe we've known each other since kindergarten and at the latest first grade.
Yep.
And whom I got to go drive around with and share memories when I was in home in January before I had the meal of food with you guys.
Aw.
So welcome, Ors.
Hey. How are
And
you?
yeah, I mean, I got to talk to you this evening a little bit. We got to kind of kick around some ideas, and I didn't know if any of my classmates were going to take me up on coming on this episode. I have pasted in the chat for you the news story if you want to see, and we're going to say hello to everybody here in a second. There is a news story where I don't know if this is the one that Ors sent me yesterday, where Tony's father was interviewed, Anthony Borello, and I really liked it because it wasn't just the police talking about it in the news, people, but I got to see and hear from Tony's dad, Anthony Borello. So let me say hello to everybody, and then we can proceed with talking about Tony. And bear in mind, this episode could be 15 minutes. This episode could be 20 minutes. This episode could be 30 minutes. It definitely won't be more than an hour. There it is right there if you want to go to that link. And I want to say hello, Cat Lady, our new moderator. How are you, my friend? And hello, Ken from England, who is one of our great fans that tunes in all the time from England. We really appreciate you. Let me know if I miss anybody. This is Julie, our long-standing moderator, who's been with us from UFOs, Bigfoot, paranormal, and now true crime. This is, of course, Boston Bia, who is over your left shoulder there, Ors.
Hello.
And Diane, hello, Diane. Thank you for stopping in. It's not a happy occasion, but we were going to do a live chat, and I wanted to dedicate the show to this young lady here. Let me see if I can find the screenshot that I made of Tony right here. Did it pop? There we go. And there she is. The very tough and rugged and beautiful Toni Lynn Borello, our classmate. And we have more that we'll share of her. But that's, I wanted to get this one up there. So I put it on the artwork last night when I said, we can still do an episode, but I want to dedicate it to Toni Lynn. So I'm going to take this off the screen because I want to give the screen to Ors right now. Oops. I want to give the screen to Ors right now to talk about, and what I'm going to do, you see the empty street right now, and we're using the empty street background because we feel empty, but I'm going to make this a little closer. And now, Ors, would you tell us what happened, please?
Quite honestly, it was just a shock. I mean, I'm watching my local news, and the next thing I know, I see a picture, and I'm just like, gosh, that looks like Tony. It was just very surreal. Quite a shock, and very sad. Just very sad. I don't know. It's just very sad. I just didn't know what to think. I mean, it was just so surreal. Like, what am I seeing? This doesn't happen. This is This doesn't happen to people I know. This happens to somebody else. This doesn't happen to us. And yeah, I think, Dave, I called you. I called Christine, and yeah, it was a shock. It still is.
Can you explain? I'd like to, if you would. Thank you so much, Patty Murphy. I appreciate it, ma'am. And thank you. Ken's wife, Boo, is here. Hi, Boo, from England also, and Standing Stones is here. Could you please tell us what happened? And then after that, I will ask you to contextualize our high school class for everybody that's watching. But could you please first just tell us what happened?
Well, based on what I saw on the news, it was just they found her in a hotel room dead. Um, Apparently, according to the police, she had been dating this guy on and off, I think they said, for a couple of months. He was a sexual offender. How that was known, I don't know. Apparently, her dad knew, and honestly had asked her not to date him, but I guess she just didn't see it as being an issue. And here we are. It's a shock.
Toni was a tough girl. She was a tough girl in high school. I think she was people would have described her that way. She was dating older guys in middle school. And even in high school, she dated guys that were out of high school. She went to the junior prom with a Marine Corps guy. And then another older guy showed up as well. So Toni was a girl that was a tough girl that was very comfortable being around guys that might have had some element of danger. And I think that's why when her father tried to warn her off of this man whose name was Carlos Caban. I don't remember his middle name, but it's Carlos Caban.
Tito.
Tito. Thank you. Carlos Tito Caban, which I don't know. B, does that sound like Tito's a very popular name in Puerto Rico, but it could be, yeah. But anyway, and so she probably felt if a situation comes up, I can handle it. Now, Toni now has had multiple back surgeries, neck surgeries, and so forth. She had a lot of problems with her musculoskeletal situation, and that would make her not as capable. And even still, the police indicated that there was definitely a struggle to where Toni did not simply give in to whatever he was trying to do, and she fought, which is the Toni that we know. At one point, she fought the biggest, toughest girl in our high school that would have scared guys, and Toni fought that girl. So that gives you an idea of, Toni was sort of fearless in that way. Those of you who don't know my age, I'm coming up upon my 40th high school reunion, which is a big deal. But Oris can tell you that we do organize biannual get-togethers with our high school classmates, one of which culminated in me leaving and heading to Massachusetts to spend the day and the evening with you guys instead of going home. But can you explain to people what our high school class is like and why this would be a big deal for us?
Well, thanks to Dave, he got us together again. Yeah, it's true, you did. And unfortunately, it started really when another great loss to our family, Andrea. And yeah, I think that's when you started getting us all together, and which it's really been a great thing. And all of us just really love getting together and seeing one another. And it's very special. It's very unique.
We feel very close
We do.
Everybody wants to know what's happening with everybody else, wherever they are in the United States,
Yeah.
what's going on. And if you're in the same city as that person, you want to go and visit with them or go and have a hangout with them.
Yeah.
And as Ors did when she found out Toni was in Florida and close enough by, they went and they hung out. And it's just kind of what people from our school did. Our school was called Hendrick Hudson High School, named after the Dutch explorer who sailed up the Hudson River. And now I'm trying on this ship called the Half Moon. So a lot of the iconography of my school is the Half Moon and so forth. I'll probably put something up on the screen, put our school logo up on here. And so instead of saying Hendrick Hudson, we call ourselves Hen Hud for short. And there's an immediate connection when you meet somebody from Hen Hud. And
True.
It's really weird. And to give you sort of an example, I was in when I was in Southern California, I mean, you couldn't be a whole lot further away from Hen Hud than you are in the United States when you're living in like the Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach area. And one of my classmates lived a few towns over in a city called Ladera Ranch. And I remember going over for her birthday because her birthday is also my birthday. So I went over to her house, her beautiful home, for a party, and there's a pool there. And it's just like, wow, you know what I mean? And when I went there were two women there from home that she had said, oh, here's so-and-so and so-and-so. I didn't even know them. But as soon as I knew they were from Hen Hud, it was like two magnets coming together. And the only people that I wanted to talk to that night was Sharon, the girl who had the party, and those two ladies from Hen Hud. And I don't even know who they are. And I don't care who they are. But those are the three people that I wanted to hang out with. And I really didn't care about talking to anybody else at the party. So that and I was constantly with, like with my arm out with Sharon, I can't really explain it, but did I explain? Does it make sense? Bia, what are you thinking right now? You're on mute.
I know. No, I mean, I think it's wonderful. I mean, a lot of us leave high school and just kind of leave it behind. And I think I admire that you guys have stayed friends for so long and just continue and are consistent, because that's what it takes, right? It's being consistent and always showing up. So, I mean, it's amazing that you can still refer to your high school friends almost 40 years later as, my friend. Like, so this connection is deep. So I admire that totally.
It's my family. It really is my family. My family is jealous to a degree of the relationship that I have with these guys. And that's what I'm thinking about. And that anticipation as I'm driving up the, the Palisades Parkway heading towards Bear Mountain, knowing that I'm this close to being able to see my friends. You think, oh man, it's going to get old by now. It never gets old.
No.
It never gets old. It's just, I feel at home, and there's nothing better. It's like Dorothy. There's no place like home. So,
yep.
So it's under this framework that, let me see if I can get Toni's.
It sounds like you're the glue that kind of keeps it all together, DJ. So
he is. Yeah. Where's the picture of the shirts?
Okay, so they got those shirts that, what a difference that Dave makes. And it's actually I was very embarrassed, but very honored nonetheless. And there's Toni. And I really don't want to dive into any credit or anything like that. I'm just happy that we're doing it. But there's Toni. You can see what a beautiful lady she was, and she could, be dressed up and look like that, and into her 50s. And that's her daughter. She was at one point a successful business owner, and she was so injured that I believe that's an ex-husband. I'm not sure. Yes. That's her in Florida. but she really was. You can see if you look into those eyes, you can see. Am I full screen now? Am I looking good over there, Bia? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Just let me know because I have to be on the other tab looking at this.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
it looks good. We're on the side and she's in the middle.
Yep. Look at those eyes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she suffered a lot in life. She went through a lot of challenges. This is Kim Akapinti. She's one of our classmates. I don't know who Marie is. If you guys know Marie there, I don't recognize her. But that's Kim. She's another one of our wonderful classmates that we'll see there in October. And there's the photo I ended up using for the artwork there, Toni. Be bold, get it back. And that can kind of give you a window into Toni's life to a degree. I want to show the prom photo also because I sent this to a friend last night. That was her son. Can you guys see that?
Oh.
That is her son. But I want to show this photo from the prom right here. Man, this is junior prom. Do you remember this one, Ors?
I didn't go to junior. Well, our
Okay.
junior. I went to a different junior.
Okay.
But yeah, I did go to our senior.
Yeah. And there, I know you did because you were at my table. So,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, you were at my table. I have that prom photo somewhere. You
Yep.
and Sean.
Yeah. And Amy? Who are you with?
Yeah, I was with Amy. Yes,
Amy.
I was with
Yep.
Amy. Bogarted her way onto that. Even after she broke up with me, she bogarted her way into the prom. But I ended up spending the after prom with Trisha Beale. So as I mentioned to you, and that was really awesome spending the after. I dropped Amy off right after the prom, and then Trisha Beale and I went to the parties, and it was good because Trisha Beale really, really liked me and admired me a lot.
She's a sweet.
But what's that? Sweet girl, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's Toni with our class president, Maria Morabito, or she was our president to be because this is junior year. Senior year, she went and ran, and she's a phenomenal lady. And the work that she does in the community is amazing. What Maria does in the community with her food pantry. She gets tons of food, household items, prom dresses, clothing donated, and then people drive to her facility and they're able to load up. I actually got to go and help her stock up a little bit when I was there a couple days before I saw you, Bia, in Massachusetts. So, yeah, but Toni was, yeah, she's just a stunner, a very special lady. And the thing I want to say, and I'm not gonna drag this on too long here, but when life throws a lot of, and thank you, Ken, for all your kind words, and the cat lady, and all of you guys, thank you so much for everything that you're saying. And not that I'm not seeing them. I'm just trying to, I really want to make this relatively quick, and then I want to get us out of here. Toni, there were a lot of challenges that Toni faced in life. And Wars and I had the misfortune to have several classmates commit suicide because things were extremely challenging for them. And Toni, despite all the things that I know of and that Ors knows of, and we're not going to share those with you for obvious reasons, she fought off those challenges and never gave up and never quit, and always thought that photo I saw there, you can get it back. Let me find that photo again. I have to scroll up a little bit. There you go. Be bold. Get it back. What a metaphor that is, right? That somebody could go through those things and say, I'm not going to quit. challenges with marriages, with men, with her kids, moving up the coast to New York and Jersey and back down in situations, making that, and it's just a lot of tumult in one's life. What is the value to each of you that has a stable life? You have a stable home, you have a stable home life environment where you feel safe, where you feel loved and you feel comfortable. And that's what keeps you from feeling challenged every day to maintain your mental state. Toni didn't have that, but she was able to fight off those challenges and not leave and say, I've got to find another way out. She fought her way out of that. The types of medication that they give you for a back injury can get you hooked on these medications, because when your back hurts, anybody here who has hurt their lower back or hurt their backs, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. You can't move. You can barely get out of bed. And that's how people get hooked on muscle relaxers and pain medication. And Toni was able to fight exactly right, Sherry D, was able to fight all of those things off to continue in life. She just made a bad choice, like all of us do. We all make bad choices. We don't often pay for those with our lives. We all have put ourselves, Ors, you've been around the country. You've been in some situations that probably were hairy or could have gotten a little scary, whether that was down the shore, other place, right?
Oh, yeah.
But somehow you emerged and you made it out of those situations, and you kind of like, man, I dodged a bullet there.
Yep, I could say that. That's for sure.
And this just happened to be one of those situations where that did not happen, where this person was, hello, please pass the pepper. Thank you, love. She's a friend of ours from New York. Please pass the pepper. Not only came to our meal food in Massachusetts, she is from the Bronx, New York, born and raised. So 36 miles from where we're from. And I said that earlier, is that 36 miles in the country from the country where we grew up, it's not uncommon to say, yeah, my friend got gunned down. My friend in the Bronx, my friend was murdered. These things are not unusual stories between high school friends in the Bronx that grew up. But where we come from, this does not happen.
Nope.
The kind of crap that's happened with the Karen Reed case in Canton and all that doesn't happen in our town. It does not happen. We're not that dirty as the Albert family is and their disgusting friends. So yeah, this is very, very strange. This is very out of character. We have not had a classmate murdered in 40 years. The medication they tried to give me over the years could have had me hooked to have pill 1. I am confused from the bottom to neck in various places, crushed by a drunk driver. Holistic is mandatory. So yeah, she Please Pass the Pepper has also suffered those types of injuries, where you could get hooked on medication. So let me talk to text. Let me rephrase. No, I totally understand. I talk to text all the time, and it screws it up for you. Thank you. Ken is saying, DJ, you have honored your friend, dear friend today. Hold your memories close. As we all know on here, you're a very special person, DJ and Beatrice, and love to your friend Ors. Ken is just, to have somebody that watches your show every week like he does from England. So now it's, 6-7 hours ahead for him. How do you thank a person like this that shows up and supports us and says, you're doing a great job? It's very you can't thank them enough.
Hey, Dave.
Yes,
we've
ma'am.
We've got our buddy Audrey, who apparently
Jesus. Where is she?
Log in. She says she can't log in.
Tell her to use her phone.
Oh.
Let me send her I will send her the
Link?
me send her the link on text message. If she's got an iPhone, this will be easy.
Okay.
Audrey. Hair or state skull. Audrey also, her father was a police officer, I want to say in New Rochelle. And
Now,
her
Kisco?
Mount,
I don't know.
okay, Mount Kisco. I'll take your word for it.
Sure.
You know, her father and her family had a daytime UFO experience that's one of the most prolific you'll ever hear, with a ginormous black triangle flying over our town during the day. So how do you explain that one? Big silent black triangle. All right, we'll see if Audrey can join us. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate. Oh, so let's see what please pass the pepper he says here. Let me get to this and I'll get to you, Ken. The medication doctors give you can have you hooked from pill number 1. That's what she means. I am fused means she probably has vertebrae fused and so forth.
Yep.
Holistic is necessary. Follow your gut. Yes. I disagree with you. I agree with you. I have had a holistic remedy to my acid reflux fail, but it works in a lot of situations. That's why we try not to deal in absolutes. All right, let's see if Audrey. Okay, what I'm going to do here, Bia and Ors, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to call Audrey. Okay.
Nope.
It's just you and I. So we did have a question earlier, and someone, I believe Julie asked if the person was caught, and I believe based on that news clip, they were.
They were.
Okay.
Yeah, according to the news, exactly. I believe they said he was caught in Georgia, and then Palm Beach County officers were on their way up there today to go get him. He actually was in Tony's stolen car with another woman that he apparently met in Orlando.
Wow.
It's crazy. I don't understand. I don't get it. And how this woman, even in Orlando, who just met him, and I guess the comment was, he said something like, oh, he was going to New York. And she's like, oh, well, I have nothing to do for the next few days. Sure, I'll go with you. What has this world come to? I mean,
scary. She could be his next victim. She could have been his next victim.
Exactly. So I don't understand. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Makes absolutely no sense to me. None. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's sad.
It is. Yeah.
I don't know. Gosh. I don't know. I'm just at a loss.
I know. I mean, the stages of grief, I mean, it's just, you guys are all just in shock right now. And it's, yeah.
Like I said, just very surreal. Like, I don't know. Just didn't make any sense to me. Just didn't. But, I mean,
Okay, my friend. So I sent Audrey the Google Voice number. So if you're listening right now, Audie, if you call that number, I will answer on Google Voice, and you can talk on air. You won't be on camera, which I know is okay with you. You've done both. Yeah, like it took me a while. Once I got her on camera, everyone's like, damn, man, look how good Audrey looks. But remember with Making Waves. But yeah, if you want to call in, Audie, and you want to talk about, just tell an anecdote about Toni, you can call that number. It is 719-602-4464. And then you could be, I can just pipe you right in. Everybody will hear you on audio. So there's that. But now it looks like she said It's okay. I'm listening in. Thank you for honoring our classmate and friend. So maybe she won't call in. I would love her to do, because she just told me a couple of anecdotes about Toni coming in 5th grade in the middle of the year, and how difficult that was. When you have a close knit group of kids and somebody coming in is really, really difficult. But Toni was bigger, and Audrey said she looked very, very, for a 5th grader, Audrey felt like she looked very, very young. Toni did not look so young. She looked a little, bigger. And so she wanted to cozy up to Audrey. And the interesting thing is about our school is that I will tell you about this in a second, Ken. I'm going to answer this one. So let me star what you're saying, and I will get right back to you. Oh, here goes Audie. Okay, here we go. All right.
Call from Audrey Staska. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Audie, are you on, my dear?
Hi.
Can everybody...
All right, you guilted me into it. I'm here.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Ors. I'll be quiet.
No, you go ahead.
I am calling you. Hi, Ors. How are you?
Okay, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm calling you from Florida in my mother-in-law's house.
Right, I forgot you were down here.
We just happened to be in Florida. I live in Connecticut. We just happened to be in Florida this week visiting my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law. And Ors sent me this horrific story this morning about Toni in Port St. Lucie, and I'm just still in shock about it.
Yeah.
And I just feel terrible, and I really want to thank you, Dave, for putting this together and honoring Toni. And I mean, I knew Toni since 5th grade, and even though we traveled in different circles in high school, we always remained friendly, and always would pass each other in the hallway and say hi and that kind of thing. But we weren't tight in high school or anything. But just like Dave was saying, especially when you're with elementary school friends, you always have this rapport, this mutual rapport, even though you go your separate ways in middle school and high school. It's always this like mutual respect for one another. And that's kind of how, my relationship was with Toni after 5th grade. And, I remember going to her house and meeting her mother, and I thought it was her sister, her older sister, because her mother was so young and beautiful, just like Toni. So, when she told me it was her mother, I was in shock about that. And like Dave said, she was a very mature girl. She always dated older guys and, that kind of thing. And, I looked like I was 10 when I was still in high school. So we just did different kind of girls, but she was always so friendly to me. So I don't have anything, bad to say about Toni. She was always very sweet to me. And I'm just really sorry for her daughter and her son and her parents. It's just a shock, really.
Yeah, somebody that battled so hard doesn't deserve... I mean, nobody deserves this, but somebody who fought off so many difficult situations and demons that would have made people quit did not make Toni quit. And that's what was one of the extraordinary things about her. And the connections we're talking about is that there were essentially, at the time when Audrey and Ors and I went to school, there were 3 elementary schools. One was called Frank G. Lindsay. That's where Audrey went. One was, actually, there was 4. One was called Furnace Woods. That's where, out a little bit more in the country, it was a little kind of town-ish where Audrey lived. There was 3 villages, Montrose, Buchanan, and Verplanck. They were famous kind of Revolutionary War kind of villages because they were right across from a Revolutionary War battle battle site called Stony Point. Audrey and I lived a little bit away from there, a little bit in the country. So we went to the school called Furnace Woods. There was another school.
No. Or Lena did. I went to Frank G. with Toni.
It was us.
Yes, that's what I said. Ors.
No, you said
Audrey.
That's okay.
I said Audrey? Okay. I might need a drink. And then there was another kind of a city-ish school called McKinley. Is that right? McKinley was the other one. So there was like There was like
Yeah, that
four:
was
Buchanan,
so,
Verplank, and then McKinley, right? So
Yep.
essentially what we're saying to you is that all of us have a connection from high school as one group. And then inside of that, there are these groups of the people that went to these different elementary schools together. And so there's a certain bond that I have, and Oris and other people, Andrea, she mentioned earlier, whom we lost to cancer, who kicked all this off. We had a certain connection that when you look at that person and you're in their presence, there's a thing there that's unspoken that I can't explain to you. And that's what Audrey feels about the people that, like Toni, that went to Frank G. Lindsay, and probably she has an even deeper connection with people where she was there the whole 6 grades, if you will, of Frank G. Lindsay. So that's what we're saying, and that's why we feel close. Now, Ken is asking me to talk about, I want to explain my relationship with Toni. My relationship with Toni, I don't remember if it was built around these get-togethers. It may have been me inviting her, because I would go on Facebook and invite people to show up. But somehow, I think it was something on Facebook. We ended up messaging one another. We exchanged phone numbers, and I called her. And she's probably like, here's this guy, Dave San Marco, calling me that I never even knew in high school. Like, I knew her, she knew me, but maybe just, okay, that's Dave. But she didn't really know, we didn't know each other because we were in different groups. But it didn't matter. All that matters, again, is we both went to Hen Hud. That doesn't matter if you hung out or didn't hang out. And so I called her, and she told me about her life, told me about her marriage, told me about her struggles, told me about her physical problems, made me laugh. Just was really adorable and cool, and loved the fact that I was trying to get her to come back to New York to hang out with us, and say, it's really important to us that you're there, Toni. And I'm so happy to be speaking with you. So that is about really all I can tell you, Ken, about Toni. I didn't know her in high school. I knew of her. She was famous because, like I said, she was a tough girl, a spirited girl. She fought the toughest girl in the high school. No problems. And she had a little bit of that bad girl in her, but she wasn't a mean girl, to at least what I could see. Now Audrey would say she may have picked on people. A lot of people picked on people right now. I could tell you, Oris, I'll tell you, one of our best friends is Stuart, and Stuart and Jim Bolello had a plan to beat me up in ninth grade. Yes. And you know who foiled that plot?
Who?
Brian Benini approached Stuart and said, if you touch San Marco or you touch Dave, you're going to have some big problems. I did not know this happened. I never knew this happened. I didn't even know they were after me. I didn't know that Brian defended me, but that's what happened, because I was a little midget in freshman year.
I had
Oh my
no
goodness.
idea.
So people picking on other people was not uncommon in Hen Hud. It was a lot more demure when this group that you're seeing, when us three were there as seniors. But when we were freshmen, there was a lot of fights in Hen Hud. You could get beat up. There were, I can tell you stories. And even the year before us, or Skip Travis told me a lot of stories, and Taco, and there was a lot of fights at Hen Hud. I'm sure that's why my brother wasn't there. But you're not going to remember that now, and you're a girl. And you're a girl.
My brother tells me some stories, or hearing and seeing things from my brother's. Well, he was 3 years older than us.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were fights in Hen Hud, and
Oh gosh,
you had to be able to defend yourself, and you didn't go in that bathroom on the senior hall floor unless at certain times of the day, unless you were a particular somebody. Because if you went in that bathroom, you were probably going to get your ass kicked. And I did have a fight in that bathroom, by the way, but that was our senior year.
You?
Yes, I'm not getting into that right now.
I can't believe this.
Oh yeah, one of my wrestling teammates wanted to fight me in the bathroom, in that bathroom on Senior Hall second floor.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Oh,
if I
Yes.
knew,
we
if I
we
knew
did
Stuart
this.
was after you, I would have never gone to the prom with him.
Yeah. We need some applause on that one. Hold up, man. Let me get this. This for Audrey. This for Audrey, who Stuart just. Here we go. Yay! Thank you, Audrey. I appreciate that. Yeah, Stuart had a crush on Audrey. Apparently, Stuart dated most of. Well, after reading his yearbook. Okay, so we lost another friend to brain cancer. And when we commiserated at Stuart's house after the wake, I opened up his yearbook and started reading what girls wrote about Stuart. Yeah, there's a lot of girls who had a crush on Stuart. Correct, ladies?
Yeah.
Correct, but we went as friends. I never dated because I knew he was a player.
You are so only you could make me laugh right now, Audrey. But there were, I mean, the quote, Stuart will bring that yearbook to our reunion and I will read stuff from it. But his wife was glaring at me like, "Date, what's that?"
I've got nothing to hide.
No, I know, but Stuart definitely does, because Stella was calling him a pervert. It was wild. But his wife was like, "Dave," without saying it, just her facial expression was, "Dave, get the out of my house." I mean, she didn't say that because she had heard all about Dave. And then I show up and she was like, "Nice to meet you. So honored to meet you." And then 20 minutes later, she's like, "Get out." Because I was reading all these inscriptions in Stuart's. I mean, Andrea wrote like 2 pages in there. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. We're not going to bore you guys for the entire night. We got it. I want to wrap this up because I feel so much better that you two guys came on here. So
That's good.
So final comments. Let's go with Audrey's first since she's on the phone.
I just feel really bad for her family. I can feel for them, and a lot of our classmates were much closer to Toni in the later years than I was. I know Kim and Chris, they've got to be really hurting.
Diane
and all of Toni's friends, and Diane. It's just
Kelly.
I always Kelly. I just really always had a friendly relationship with Toni, and she'll be missed. I was really looking forward to seeing her and a lot of other people at the 40th. I really thought that she would, come and join us. So this is really quite a shock and a horrific thing. And I know she was recently a grandma and everything. So it's just so heartbreaking.
Right.
So I just want to thank you guys for, doing this for her. And, we've lost a lot of classmates. We've lost, 15 something classmates, and we're only in our 50s. So I would encourage all our classmates, if you can at all, come to our 40th, really, because it could be, our last chance. You don't know when, it's your last time to see somebody. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Audie, for saying that and for sharing your bright light. And I'll be speaking with you soon. Thank you for working with me and being my running buddy for this this reunion that you and I are basically on that reach out to people detail. And it's always an honor to speak with you.
Likewise. I'll be in touch.
Bye, Lo.
Oh,
All right. Ors.
honestly, I have to agree with everything Audrey said. It's sad. It's very sad, and I feel for her family. It's a shock. It's a shock, and it's just senseless. It's something that should not have happened. I don't know. It's just sad. It's just really sad.
Yeah, I'd love to get in, be one of those detectives that gets to get in a room alone with Carlos and see what he's actually got. that could turn out very poorly for me, but
Mm.
I'd love to see what he's got. And with that, my most important thing to me right now, the only thing I'm thinking about today really is how can we honor how do we get a hold of the mom or the dad, and hopefully I can and find out where we can have services, and God willing it'll be in New York, because I'm sorry about to say that, or I don't want to fucking go to Florida to honor Toni. I want to go to New York.
Well, I mean, again, not knowing, but I would imagine, I mean, her daughter or son, they're all up there.
Right. It makes sense to do it somewhere in the tri-state area. So,
So,
yeah. So, thank you, Julie, for saying that. Everybody here, all of you have such sweet words. Boo, Ken, everybody, the cat lady, our mod. I didn't get to as much of you guys, but it was a lot of trying to burn up a lot of energy trying to remember. Bia, last, would you like to say anything before we close this thing out?
No, I mean, I think your 40th this year coming up is going to definitely have a new meaning. Hopefully, you find a way to honor her there as well, because obviously, she would have potentially been attending as well. So,
She would have.
yeah. So I just, I admire how close you all are, and you guys are family. It's apparent, and you guys are the family that you picked, right? Not the ones that were chosen for you, the ones that you guys picked, and just continue being there for each other. Grief has a lot of, there's 5 stages of grief, and you guys are just all in shock. And, it's sad. And, I just send you all my love and sympathy.
thank you.
Thank you, Bia. Ors, thank you so much, love. I'll be in touch with you over the next couple of days. Let's endeavor to find out where the services are going to be. I realize that there is a forensic component to this that is required in order for them to establish the guilt of this man, Carlos Caban. So it won't be this open and shut. Okay, she's already, at the funeral home and so forth, because they're going to need to make sure that they can pin this murder on the guy, which is a different thing than what we're accustomed to. Our friends have died of more natural causes, if you will. We've had a few where that weren't natural causes, but not somebody who's been murdered. So yeah, it may be a few days.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Bia, and thank you all you cabbies that are in the chat here, and we'll be seeing you Saturday night. We're going to see you for Nan Gallagher and Kate Casey. Kate Casey, the host of Reality Life with Kate Casey. Hi, Lisa. And this should be a pretty amazing episode because Kate Casey is a very, very high level interviewer. And our goal is to let her interview attorney Nan Gallagher about this case that we're covering, about the murder of Officer John O'Keefe. That's what this show has been covering for the most part. I probably haven't talked to you about it, Oris, very much, but I can send you some details on the case. So yes, this Saturday is going to be a great show, and by then I'll be feeling a little more able to do a show like this, while we hope for the opportunity to go and honor Toni Borello. I'm going to put her up here one more time. March 17th, 1967 to March, I want to say it was maybe the 20th. March 20th of 2025. It could have even been more. It could have been the 23rd.
I think it seems like it could have been because they found her Monday morning.
So Sunday. Okay, and Sunday would have been Sunday
23rd.
would have been the 23rd.
Yeah.
23rd. So yeah, so March 17th, 1967 to March 23rd, 2025. We will honor you, Toni, and we will love you forever, and we will be your family forever. I know that physically your body is now being examined and being analyzed, but your spirit left when this happened, and your spirit is still here, and it may have already inhabited another person, another body. There may be a child in which that was born that now has your spirit, but I know that you're still here. So love you, Toni. Love you, Ors.
Love you,
Love you,
Dave.
Bia.
Bye.
Love you,
Bye.
chat.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Ors.
to meet you
Bye,
too.
And
everybody.
again, sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thank you for you guys in the chat, Lisa, mods, fans. Thank you for coming and just hanging out and listening to me grieve. It's not something that you had to do. It's not fun. It's not talking about Karen Reed and the other interesting things we talk about. It's a bunch of high school friends and my co-host musing about it. And it really means a lot to me that you came and hung out. So thank you. Love you, everybody.
Love you.